Welcome back to the class, everyone. We all love to talk about the best characters in game and how to farm them. What are the ideal team compositions that we should all be building with them? And then what are the proper mod strategies that we should be applying so that we can get the most bang for our buck with what we worked on? However, we really need to take a minute now to look at how can we build our roster in such a way to accumulate as many resources as fast as possible. So that's really what today's video is going to be entirely focused on. We want to talk about how we can grow our roster by being efficient, not just in our resource use, but in how to get more resources to begin with, so that we know that we're managing well what we have, but we're also increasing what we're getting all the time. So the first thing, as you guys can see on the list right below me here, is we need to focus on crystal refreshes. I realize that every single player out there is at a different spot in the game, and even if you're free to play, you are going to be getting a certain amount of free to play crystals, whether it be through dailies or galactic war or through your territory battle. You're going to be getting them occasionally, and it is of the utmost importance, and I cannot stress this enough, for them to go into energy refreshes. And to be clear here, we want to be spending at most the first 3 refreshes available through normal, cantina, mod, and fleet. And you're probably already thinking, Calvin, all right, I get 100 crystals a day. I can't refresh every single energy 3 different times. You don't have to. Do what you can with what you have. If it's just 2 of the normal energy, that's fine. If it's a cantina mixed in with a mod energy, I'm not really too picky. We just need to focus there from an efficiency standpoint. What you really want to steer clear away from is going into shipments and saying, hey, this is a guaranteed way to get the character. I'm much better off doing this than refreshing the energy here and then farming them on the node. That really is not ideal. The game has been out for 8 years now. We've tracked a ton of data, and it has proven almost in all cases that buying the first crystal refreshes, and again, for 50 crystals, I realize it's at 100 right now, but for 50 crystals is the most efficient way to farm almost everything. There are a few exceptions out there, and we can maybe talk about those in another video, but for the most part, this is your way to accelerate your pace, and it's going to be, frankly, really boring. You're not going to see instant results. You're not going to be able to instantly get the character or get your gear all the way up, but that is the best way to do it efficiently over time, whether it be, again, normal, cantina, mod, fleet. That is going to be up to you, your crystal income, and what your specific needs are. But all right, that covers pretty well how we should be spending our crystals regardless of how we're getting them. Next, what I want to talk about is how do we get them? And right now, the most efficient way to get those crystals is fleet. And I know this has been talked about a lot, but it continues to be true even now in 2024. And that is that fleet is the best way to get a ton of crystals, and for really at least two reasons. And that is going to be because fleet arena is very still much a thing. If you get first place, you get a payout of 400 crystals, and I don't even really want or need to focus on that much. What I want to focus on the fact is, if you're outside of the top 50, you are currently getting nothing in regards to crystals. If you can move yourself all the way up, at least into the top 50, you will start getting a little bit every day. And when you're used to practically no crystals, let's say you're on a budget of 100 or 200 or 300, those extra 50, they end up making a huge difference in the long run. So get as high as you can, get your fleets built up. I'm not really sure which one you need to be working on. Every account out there is going to be different. For some people, it's going to mean going after Leviathan. Other people, it's going to mean getting Tarkin and Geos built up. It's going to vary on what your shard looks like and what you need to have to be able to beat the opponents. In addition to this, while, Fleet Arena is a great place to get crystals, the other really good place to get crystals, and actually the main source of crystal income that most of us are going to see, is going to be through Grand Arena Championships. And now this is not the end-all be-all for Grand Arena, because there are other strategies that will also involve using ground characters. Fleet is still used, and there's a lot of people in the lower divisions in Kyber 3 or Kyber 4, that are actually able to win entire matches out of just placing fleets. And then they can use those crystals that they're earning from these winnings and from their high ranking position to be able to then go and invest in other ground characters. So investing in fleet, you have this twofold answer of not only are you going to be getting crystals from Fleet Arena, but you're also going to do better in GAC. And there's also just some other just random miscellaneous nice things about having fleet. One of them, and this isn't really that much about crystals, but it's actually really about proving grounds and conquest, is you need at least 4 million GP to enter into conquest to kind of get better resources, and then on top of that, also curb proving grounds just a little bit by getting most of your shards through conquest. And one of the best ways to hit 4 million GP is by building up ships, because the GP is just so astronomically large. Like if we look at my Millennium Falcon or my Scythe here, you can see that they're almost at 100,000. When you go and compare that to individual characters, even ones that you have high relic up, it just completely slaughters it. He's at 30,000 for Emperor Palpatine, whereas his ship over here is getting 80,000. So it's a great way, again, to bolster your roster, kind of in a way inflate it, but at the same time, you're going to get these added bonuses, like being able to participate in some larger events. And then on top of that, the Fleet Arena is also going to give you fleet currency, which is then used for Zetas, which for anyone who's bought any of the Lightspeed bundles, they are definitely feeling that crunch when it comes to Zetas, and you get this material by having a high placing in fleet, whether that be, again, 50, if that's high for you, if it's number 1, even better. Now it's time that we take a little bit of a step away from talking about crystals and start talking about your guild. The reason why this is so important is because there are a lot of resources that come through being in a guild. And the better guild that you're in, the better your resources are going to be. And I have been asked throughout the years, when is the right time to leave the guild you're in, where you feel like you're kind of carrying everyone's weight on your shoulders? And it's a really legitimate question, because between TW, TB, and raids, there is a lot going on here as far as resources go, and you could be missing out on a lot of things. And the answer to that question that I've landed on over the years is, if you are consistently in the top 5 across every single game mode, it's probably time to leave. And I say that specifically because there's a lot of people that have kind of favorites, where they'll either want to be really good at the raid, or they'll want to be really good at TW, and they'll be really good at TB. And that's pretty healthy for a guild, to have a lot of their strengths mixed around and a variety. But really, if you're in the top 5 consistently and you feel like you could be doing better, you probably can. I am very content with being in my guild currently, and I kind of wanted to use this as an example. You can see here that we're currently ranked 10th for the speeder bike pursuit, and quite frankly, I wouldn't even finish there. I will probably finish somewhere around 20, and I'm consistently around there. I guess I'm actually not really a superpower in any of the modes that my guild is in, but I'm able to perform pretty well in Roach, where I'm currently helping my guild get to Zepho. Territory Wars, I'm typically again in that middle range, and even if you are in one of the top ranges again in one of these game modes, don't necessarily feel too bad. But I'd ask you legitimately, if you're constantly top 5 in every single thing that your guild is doing, and you just feel like you're putting in way more than everybody else on average, then yeah, it might be time to look around and see what is out there. Again, if you're comfortable with it. If you're not, if you're completely fine being number 1 in every single thing, you want to play with the people that you've always played with, that's acceptable. But when we're talking about growth, leaving your guild for a better one that is performing better is something that needs to be considered. Next up is going to be going wide first. Now, again, at the very beginning of the video, we talked about roster building, what you're wanting to build, when you're wanting to build it. And one of the most important things that you can do is start collecting a wide amount of characters. And obviously, you want to build them up so that you're actually getting results with them. But one of the sad, or disappointed isn't even the right word. One of the things that I see when I'm looking at newer rosters that I think, oh, you're missing out on so much, is when they only have one team at Relics, and there's like 40 relics pumped all into that one team. Even if it's a good team like CLS Rebels or 501st Gas, you really want to spread around your relics to a variety of teams. There is so much going on in the game right now. You're really hurting yourself by over-investing into one team in the very beginning, rather than building up, say, 5 or 8 or 10 or 12. You can get CLS, you can get them to a really nice point where you're able to unlock all the things they're involved at Relic 3 or Relic 5 or Relic 6, depending on what legendary you're going after. And then maybe you can take a break from there and you can go work on Geonosians, getting them to Gear 12. That way you're making sure that you can get into a better guild. And at the same time, you're taking one of your Jedi, let's say Jedi Knight Luke, all the way up to Relic 5, and give him some supporting Jedi so you can start beating some of those tiers of their assault battle. And you really want to cover as many bases as possible. There have been so many people, and a lot of them are probably watching this video right now, who have discovered the bare minimum for all the events, whether they be an assault battle, a guild battle, or a legendary battle. And it's a pretty cool feeling when you get to see that you went in with your gear 11 or your gear 12 when it's supposed to be at relics, and you complete that, and now you're getting a better return on investment because you didn't have to put in as much right away. And I followed this rule pretty well myself up until very recently. I've had R7 on a lot of characters that most people have had R8 for a long time, being Malgus and Starkiller. Again, that has very recently changed with my roster. But that is one thing that I would advise to most new and mid-game players right now. Really try to go wide. Try to find the bare minimums for what you're trying to do. Obviously, don't gear 11 every single character out there. You want to make sure that those characters are actually giving you a return on investment, whether it be through an assault battle, whether it be through a TB, but don't necessarily go completely overboard and again, dump Relic 8 onto every single character in one team. You don't have to finish them by getting them to a high Relic level. Sometimes Relic 3 or gear 11 is good enough for quite a while. And now on to the last tip, and this one also is going to be kind of boring, and that's just going to be use the web store. A lot of people out there, you're already completing your dailies, which is great. You're getting a lot of crystal income and other materials by doing that. But one of the things that really should be worked into your daily routine, if you can help it, is checking the web store every single day for the free goodies. They're not really present here, so this is kind of a bad example. But I'll leave the link in this below if you don't know what this is. This is the specific store linked to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, where they have a lot of free promos in here. Every single day, there's a little bit of energy you can get. They also do calendars and stuff like that. You don't need to use my link. I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm just kind of wanting to give visibility to this, especially for those of you who are in the very beginning of the game right now, and you're trying to work on getting as much energy as possible to be able to advance your account, because Calvin said that was the most efficient way to do things. You're getting energy out of here for free every single day. Even if it's not really the one you want, you're going to be able to use it in some capacity, even if it means helping getting that one character you have on the back burner, or getting you some signal data, even if you don't have relics yet, but you're just preparing for when you eventually do. This is a really nice way to do it. You don't really need to buy any of the other things in here. There's typically not, I mean, I guess that's kind of a deal. I don't know. Do that at your own discretion. What I'm saying is check it every single day, get the free stuff, get out, consider it part of your dailies, and advance your account as much as you can by doing so. So that is going to be the video for today. These are the 5 things that I think really can help booster and help you max out your roster more efficiently and quicker in 2024. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay awesome.